What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show here at 3 p.m. And we've got another doozy of a show lined up for you guys today. We're going to continue to talk about this dip in price action. Again, a lot of people out there are using the word crash. I even almost said it right then. This is not a crash. This is a dip. We're not down 30, 40, 50%, guys. Maybe some altcoins are. Maybe we could call this an altcoin crash. But when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is simply a pullback. But I continue to be overwhelmingly positive about what the future holds. There's still so many bullish signs, and I'm going to continue to highlight those for you guys today. We'll talk about why price is down so far. Is there a huge echo? Someone's saying there's an echo in my, I don't know why there'd be an echo. I will make sure that there's nothing playing there. I don't know if there's an echo. Let me know. Anyway, back to what I was saying here. We're going to talk more about why price is dipping at the moment. Also, we're going to be talking about some very, 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 very good news from China. If you're a crypto holder, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, and also ChainLink. It's been dormant here recently, a fan favorite, a channel favorite. However, is it about to see a reversal? Guys, we're going to get into that and a lot more. You got to smash the like button, though. Hit subscribe. Let's get into the show, but we're going to start off with that intro. Let's start off with some good news, everybody. The good news is tomorrow, T-Shroom will be back. There might be some of you watching who are like, who the heck is T-Shroom? Maybe you just found us within the last 7 days. T-Shroom is the other part of the dynamic duo here at Investing Bros. He is on his honeymoon, but I was on the phone with him earlier. He is currently on, or he was in an airport or headed to an airport on his way back home. He will not be here in the morning. I actually will be going live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. because tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will get CPI data. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Very important for the rest of the stream. But T-Shroom will be joining us along with Caleb Franzen, or at least that's the plan, tomorrow at 3. So if you've been missing the Shroom and you want a little more of him in your life, you got to come back tomorrow at 3 p.m. I cannot wait to have him back on here. I have not been doing a quote of the day every single day. There's just some times I'm like, you know what, I got so much else I got to plan for the show. I got so many other things I got to be creative about. Didn't have a creative quote. Today's quote of the day is coming to you via one of you guys, one of the audience members who left a comment on the channel yesterday. And I'm telling you right now, this might be my favorite comment that I've ever had. And I don't know if he meant it to be or not, but this is the quote of the day. Sure, dude. Trust the guy wearing a cap indoors and a beard that could hide an entire elk. That's pretty good. I don't know if he was meaning to insult me or not. I didn't even notice. I loved the comment so much. It wasn't until other people pointed out the guy's name is at Silly Sausage 4549. So maybe this is just a grand joke, but here's the thing. I thought that this was amazing. I would love to see more comments like this. First of all, I mean, what do you have against people wearing hats indoors? I mean, it's a common thing. I'm not bald. I have hair. I just don't like to mess with my hair. So hats are easier. Also, I get to continue to display the Investing Bros emblem. But I loved it. I love it. My beard hiding an elk. Who knows? I'm just going to whip this sucker up and an elk's going to come out and get you guys here soon. Shout out to Silly Sausage 4549. You did make my night last night. Let's go ahead over here and take a look at what crypto is looking like. Let's get in here. Bubbles, first of all. Now, as some of you have already mentioned in chat, price actually at the moment is having a little bit of a rally in the last couple of minutes, but it's not enough to take away from the fact that we really have a sea of red. I mean, you have some areas here. ONDO's technically in the green. Pepe looks to be in the green. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Gnosis is in the green. Stacks is in the green. There's a couple of things in the green, but as a whole, a lot of red here over the last 24 hours. But if we hit this hour button, look at that. You'll love to see it. A lot of green there. Caspa, a 2.8. Brett is up. Rose is up. Stacks is up in the last hour. ONDO's up big. Knott's up big. So we got some big movers here in the last hour, not big movers necessarily in the last 24 hours, at least in the positive route. Let's check out what crypto as a whole is looking like. Bitcoin Dropped below 67,000. Those of you who watched my morning update this morning, we talked a lot about this. It is back up. We're flirting with 67,200, but that still puts us down a whopping 3.6% in the last 24 hours because yesterday we were still maintaining the $69,000 level, kind of even flirting with, can we make it back over 70? But I did tell you guys, some of you guys who are here, I said yesterday's show, do not be surprised to see Bitcoin's price at least fall to 67. I also gave another price, and we'll talk about that during the TA section. But Bitcoin down 3.6%, Ethereum down 5%. So big dips, not crashes, but big dips for 24 hours on Bitcoin, especially when you factor in that we're actually bouncing back up right now. It was a lot more severe actually earlier. BNB is continuing to fall pretty dramatically, down 6%. Solana down 8%. Now, I'm going to talk about Solana as well. I gave you guys a level a couple of days ago to watch out for Solana. If some of you had put that price into your buying position, you would have bought the dip on Solana perfectly almost. We'll check that out. XRP down 3.5, Doge down 5, Toncoin down 3.6, Cardano down 5%, SHIB is 7, Avalanche is 4. So kind of wrapping up some of those top coins. Big falls in the last 24 hours. But the point of the show today is their hope for a rally. Before we go into the charts, let me kind of wrap up for people who are just joining what the thesis has been now for the last couple of shows here that I'm going to continue to hold very strong on. The first thing that we've talked about in other shows, if you guys want to go watch other episodes, I'm not going to bring back up all the charts and all the data and all the articles we went through, but you do need to know, overwhelmingly right now, it is new investors, short-term holders who are extremely bearish. They're selling their Bitcoin. They're going to futures and they're shorting the market. They're causing a lot of suppression in price. But what are the whales and the long-term holders doing? They're just gobbling up everything that's coming into play. The inflows keep on rolling. I do think I saw that today, yesterday, the inflows were not as high as they'd been the last couple of days, but we are continuing to see people buy up the ETF on this dip. We're seeing whales continue to move their money, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, off of exchanges. And despite the fact that the price has fallen, and to be fair, I think there's some signs that maybe the dip is over, but I'm not going to go ahead on today and tell you guys that I think 100% 67, or rather almost got to 66,000 was the bottom. There's a chance we go a little lower. But when I zoom out, I look at the long-term perspective, I'm watching smart money buying Bitcoin. I'm watching what we would call dumb money, the newer investors who just respond emotionally. We're watching them sell Bitcoin. I've got to pick a lane. I got to choose one. I'm siding with smart money. I'm siding with the whales. And another reason we're going to talk about, and I'll float this, then we're on the charts, and then get into the articles. Again, we're talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about Shine, and we're talking about ChainLink today. The big reason for the fear right now is anticipation of what is going to happen tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Well, I already told you, 8:30 in the morning. I'll be going live at 9 a.m. CPI data will be coming out. In fact, let me show you what that is in case you guys are wondering about that. We're going to look at these numbers right here. Core inflation will be coming in. Expectation 0.3 month over month, 3.6, actually expected 3.5, 3.6 for year over year. Inflation rate month over month and year over year expected to be 3.4. This is a number that people are watching, and there's some anticipation that we might see these numbers actually be a little too high. Why? Well, because last week we saw the job numbers on non-farm payroll be a little higher than we thought. We saw raises being given out. So a lot of times some people think that that's accompanied by inflation. However, I think that this is primed to come out either exactly at these numbers or maybe even possibly below. We also have to look forward to tomorrow afternoon, the Fed interest rate decision. Spoiler alert, guys, it's going to be nothing. They're going to keep rates the exact same. But what's very interesting is at 2:30, when Jerome Powell takes the podium to speak to the press, how will he respond? The CPI data is going to have a lot to do with it, but how will he respond to recent job numbers? How will he respond to the CPI numbers? How will he respond to recent events in Europe and Canada where those governments are starting to cut rates and go into quantitative easing? I talked about that in depth yesterday, why that could cause him to follow. Either way, that is what's causing fear of these numbers, and these details are causing people to sell off. That could lead us to a very, very rich ability for price to be volatile and to have a nice bounce back to the upside. So keep an eye on that for a second. Let's talk about Bitcoin TA though. And before I do, I always forget to do this. T-Shroom's not here. Doesn't keep me on my toes. Got to make sure I give a good warm call out to our sponsors that I did not pull up. Can you stay with me for a second, guys? Just give me 1 second. I gotta have, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the sponsors, so I had to make sure that I give them their due. And the sponsor number one, gotta let you guys know about Bitcoin Conference 2024. That'll be between July 25th, 27th. It will be in Nashville. If you want to go to an epic conference, if you want to meet some epic people like T-Shroom and myself and thousands of others, it is not too late. It's got more than a month left. Go sign up today. Get tickets with our link in the description down below. I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to see you in Nashville. Come spend some time with us. Our other sponsor is going to be Lux Algo, but you guys are going to see that goodness for yourself. I'll talk more about them here in a second. So Bitcoin here did something yesterday. Let's just start off with analysis from yesterday. I told you guys that this red line, this rising, come on now. Get rid of that. There we go. Don't want to keep drawing on my screen like that. This red line of rising support was going to be a very, very key level to keep an eye on. Sure enough, we lost it very, very, very convincingly. Right there on 69,100. We broke it late last night and just went into a tailspin all throughout the day. I do want you guys to know, I'm going to kind of go back and forth here. There are some things that are potentially flashing slightly bullish, but I did tell you if we lose that area and we lose this order block, keep an eye on our smart trail here. North side sitting around 65,600, but I think there's a decent chance potentially 64.4 could be in the cards, the bottom side of that smart trail. I was also talking to T-Shroom earlier. He asked me this question, so this one goes out to T-Shroom. But he wanted to know what the Bollinger Band was looking like on the weekly chart. And you'll notice right now, it's still climbing pretty aggressively. It's coming in around 63,100, but you can see it's coming up to this mark. It's an interesting thing to keep an eye on because this is a line we have not been below since all the way back in October. And we've already had one close encounter and a second touch on the big pullback back in April. So it's another line to keep an eye on the Bollinger Band's weekly chart. We're coming back down towards that 20 SMA. We're also seeing the constriction of the bands themselves. And we all know this is a volatility. Well, I say we all know. In case you don't know, Bollinger Bands are a volatility slash breakout predicting tool. What you want to see is potential kind of confluence hovering right around that mid-level to 20 SMA. And then you watch the resistance and support bands kind of get closer and closer till they have some tight constriction. And then you'll know a big breakout is coming shortly after. And due to where we are in the market, I'm going to go ahead and put my vote into the basket of saying that breakout should be to the upside. It should be very bullish. But that's what we're seeing here on the Bollinger Bands. There's reasons to potentially say, hey, the dip might not be over just yet, but it's definitely sitting very, very close. Let's turn on again. Lux Algo, this indicator, the number one trading tool. If you're looking to make some money while trading, this is going to be the one. You get it, and you also get access to my VIP trading group when you purchase using our link. So shout out to Lux Algo. The daily chart not quite giving us the bullish flashes. In fact, there's one thing bearish here on the daily chart that I want to definitely keep an eye on. We've talked pretty in depth about this when we talk about RSI in our VIP trading group, but you do not like when it crosses below the 50. That's a pretty bearish move. It's not a nail in the coffin. I'm not saying, oh, that's it. Daily chart for Bitcoin is extremely bearish and we're heading down to 33,000. That's not what I'm saying here. But I am saying that's an alarming move right there that to me says the bulls need to really, really, really pick up some steam if they want to take back control and move price back to the upside. Again, very doable because of a lot of things that are happening right now. But I just want to let you guys know I'm not going to come on here, even though I'm bullish, I'm not going to lie to you about what the charts are saying. The charts are still pretty overwhelmingly bearish. I'm here on the Lux Algo oscillator. We're still under a reversal, money flow going negative and a negative momentum on our oscillator. That was a good sell signal. Anyone who took advantage of this and was watching Lux Algo said, all right, listen, there's reasons to be bullish right now, but when I get these three signals, I want to sell. I would have sold back here on June 7th. Oh, would you look at that? June 7th, perfect day to sell and take some profits on this move. So are those things over just yet? I don't think so. Again, I think usually you come into contact with that smart trail at the very least. If not, you start to move down towards our take profit somewhere between 62.2 and 57.5. That order block right there sitting around 61,000, probably going to be very, very firm support. That's what we're looking at still on the longer time frames. When I go to the 4-hour chart, we are seeing a nice bullish candle come into play, but take a look here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we call a bearish breaker block, meaning a level of high liquidity that should have been support, but with the aggressive move of the bears breaking below it without even hesitating, that a lot of times turns all of those levels that people wanted to buy short term, it might actually turn them into sellers when the price comes back up. In other words, the price bounced back down here. Maybe you have a couple people looking for a long scalp and they just want to take profit right back at these levels where other people who have missed out on an opportunity to short might take advantage of it right here. Now, this is the kind of realistic, let's just kind of be honest what the charts are saying right now, Bitcoin mood right now. I want to show you some stuff going on over here with our high block. I got to start off by going to BTC, and we'll stay here on these 7 days for a second. Probably going to take a look at the monthly. We are doing a good job right now of continuing to remove a lot of liquidity. In fact, this morning's big drop got rid of a big chunk, still sitting at 68,300, a big chunk sitting at 67. I told you guys about that. But look at where the next one is sitting. Again, if we continue to fall down here closer to 64,000. So even though I am bullish when I think about what I think could happen here in the next 24 hours or so, I think could have some bullish catalyst. I'm continuing to be kind of on the watching radar for even the bullish move we're seeing right now. It's showing levels of resistance right above us, and I still see targets and rational reasons as to why price could be dipping just a little bit lower. That's what I'm seeing on the Bitcoin chart right now, but it's time to start getting a little more positive. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Let's go into some news and some reasons why you should be long-term positive still. Now, I've already addressed this. I talked about the economic data coming out tomorrow, but I want to talk a little bit about why we're going into kind of a spiral. If you guys are just joining us, we've got 440 people in here. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Before I get in this article, let me just break it down for you, kind of a synopsis of how we got where we got to. Ultimately, there's a lot of fear in the market right now. Short-term holders are selling because there's fear about what CPI data and the FOMC meeting could mean tomorrow. However, if the whales were joining them in that fear, I would feel very, very bearish myself. In fact, I might even be calling for prices to dip possibly back down to 55,000. But the fact that bulls are actually buying up and continuing to move money off exchanges makes me believe that these people in high positions that have billions of dollars who are putting their money in very smart places right now know something that you and I don't know. And so while right now we're still having to be a little speculative with this prediction, there's an article written this morning that I heavily agree with. Bitcoin price to rise post FOMC meeting, and here is why. Let's kind of break this down. I might go into more detail for you guys. What happened right there? I don't know why that one got turned red. Let's go through it. Past FOMC events have been followed by rallies in Bitcoin's price, which may indicate another one is imminent. Over the last 4 FOMC meetings, each of these have been accompanied by a local bottom and further price increases more than 20%. That actually probably is the end of what I have for that article. Yes, it is. Ultimately, the main reason we're kind of looking here, this is not brand new to this FOMC announcement. We've actually watched, as this article talks about, over the last 4 of them. We know that Jerome Powell's not going to lower or raise interest rate. We know he's going to stay still, but there's always this fear. There's always this reason that people start to let the prices of Bitcoin and crypto dip down into the actual announcement, and then boom, something that we've been talking about now for years. There's always some big volatility on the day of FOMC, but the last 4 meetings, we've actually seen the price after a dip go on to rally upwards of 20%. If we see that pattern repeat, for example, let's pretend we don't go any lower. Let's pretend for the rest of today and tomorrow, we hesitate around where the current price action is. The bottom ended up being Let me turn off Luxloggle here for a second, just because I don't need it on the moment. Let's say the bottom was 66,100, give or take. A 20% move to the upside, I have to move the screen, would send us up to levels we have been talking about now for a little while, closer to 80,000 as the next level of significant resistance after an all-time high. If history repeats, that's where we would be going. Let's pretend that I'm right, though, that I think we could make a further move down closer to 64,000. 20% would still send us up over $77,000. There's nothing magical about the number 20. At that point, I don't think it's a stretch to say, you know what? We could see 24% rally up here to $80,000, give or take. The fact is that historically, especially in the last 4 meetings, this is exactly what we've come to be accustomed to. People freak out. The retail investors and short-term holders are so afraid of what if, based off of economic numbers, that they sell all of their holdings to who? To BlackRock, to Vanguard, to all of the whales in the institution. So Michael Saylor and others who are smart enough to see, you know what? Sometimes you got to take your eyes off of a chart that looks like this and say, uh-oh, that's a really bearish looking chart. I better sell my Bitcoin. Sometimes you got to come out to a chart that looks a little bit more something like this. It's a very bullish looking chart. In fact, this whole pullback, you guys see it? You guys see that very small little blue candle right there? That huge pullback we've had this entire week? Yeah, I don't see it really either. It's really hard to see when I look at it from this perspective. When I remember that literally not that long ago, November of 2022, the price was at 15.6. The fact that I remember for the first time in Bitcoin's history, we set a new all-time high before a halving event. Yeah, it's when I look at those details, and so I look at the macro that I say, you know what? A pullback to 64,000 is not really that big of a deal when I really think about it. Yeah, all of you retail investors, go ahead and freak out. You know what? Sell me your Bitcoin while you're at it because I plan on being wealthy in the future. And apparently you don't because you're too scared to hold Bitcoin through a little bit of FOMC volatility. It happens every time. It's a tale as old as time. Hopefully you guys are not falling for it. There's some more stories we got to talk about here, more reasons to be bullish, and this is a big one. Maybe some of you guys have seen this. This was posted by Watcher.Guru, probably one of my highest recommended follows on Twitter. Behind myself, go follow me on Twitter. I got to talk more about that later because I got to get those Twitter numbers up. World's largest bank calls Bitcoin gold and Ethereum. Sorry, this is written kind of poorly. World's largest bank calls Bitcoin gold. I know you don't put commas after and, but these are two different thoughts. And Ethereum digital oil, right? So we're obviously been talking about Bitcoin this whole time, but Ethereum slowly but surely has been slipping down itself, dropped below 3,500, has itself, down to levels we actually discussed the other day. Remember, I told you guys watch out for down here towards 3,400. It's a little, actually, you know what? Boom. Look at this, guys. We talked about this yesterday. Look at the Bitcoin or the Ethereum price prediction that I gave you guys after the bearish price breakout. I said, look out for this price. I said, look out for 34,460. Would you guys look at how good of a call that was? Would you look? I mean, technically, yes. If you had bought the exact level I told you to, you would have been in loss for about 5 minutes. You would have been down probably like 0.5%. So I'm sorry, but perfect call right there. Very good reason to be bullish on Ethereum and Bitcoin moving forward, especially with this new call from this big bank. Now, the banking question. Let's see. And what is certainly a positive note for the entire industry, the world's largest bank, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, has recently applauded the evolution of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, that got super light right there, so you guys might not be able to see it. It says in a recently published report, I guess it's a link probably to click on that and see a different report. The lender praised cryptocurrencies for their importance in an ever-shifting financial landscape. Specifically, the bank compared Bitcoin to gold, while highlighting its rapid growth in a more digitalized economy. They also, I think, went on to talk about why the scarcity of Bitcoin is so valuable. It's even scarcer than gold, meaning it should be more valuable than gold. Additionally, it called Ethereum digital oil, while referencing the power of the ecosystem to power a host of Web3 applications and programs throughout the growing marketplace. Right now, guys, there are things that people are fighting. There are wars that happen over these two commodities, gold and oil. And now the largest bank in the world, and the largest bank in the world belonging to one of the largest economy in the world, China, an economy and a government in a world where they've been historically pretty anti-crypto, only recently due to their economic problems, have shifted their stance to say, you know what, this crypto thing, that Bitcoin thing ain't that bad. They are comparing Bitcoin and Ethereum to two commodities that, again, wars get fought over these things. To be able to control oil and gold, people literally go to war and kill each other for it. Again, I'm not trying to make too dramatic here. What I'm saying, though, is we've all known this, especially if you've been watching the channel for a while, if you've been invested in crypto for a while. We have known Bitcoin is the future greatest commodity in the world, and Ethereum is right behind it. More people often compare Ethereum to silver, but I actually myself like the comparison to oil a lot more than silver. What do you guys think? Either way, this is another reason to be extremely, extremely bullish. And guess what? When Bitcoin and Ethereum move back to the upside, the altcoins will be right behind them. So if anyone's out here wondering, saying, Tim, this is great for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but will altcoins be left in the dust? No, they will not. They might not explode just yet because it's not altcoin season yet, but they will be following shortly behind. And then wait till this fall. Some of you who are new, maybe you weren't here in 2021. Let me tell you guys, this fall is about to get very fun and very exciting, because when true altcoin season hits, what you've seen up to this point is nothing. When true altcoin season hits, it is like being a kid in a candy shop. You will see a lot of your favorite coins, some 2, 3, 4x in one day alone. It's going to be amazing. Let's check in with chat here for a second before I move into talking about at least one altcoin, if not looking at some others. I will be ending the show a little bit sooner today, because I will be going on Stocks with Josh at 4 o'clock. So again, I'm assuming I'll probably still be live all the way till about 3:50, 3:55 or so. But if anyone's wondering why the show ends a little early, because got a busy day, got a busy schedule, and I will be having to check out just a little early. But again, a full hour show. It's some good stuff there. Crux saying Caspa is what he's talking about, is better than every single way. What are we referencing here? I was talking about Litecoin. Oh, I think someone said, Kyle Field said Litecoin is silver. You know, Kyle, here's what I'll say about Litecoin. It has not gone away, so you got to give Litecoin some credit for that. But let's take a look at Litecoin for a second when I get the chart. I'm not going to share my screen until I get it, though. I know. Yeah, there we go. Okay. If you look at Litecoin long term, there's reasons why people are a little bit skeptical. In fact, the only real people that I've heard be extremely positive about Litecoin, Tom Crown will be positive about Litecoin, and I'd love to get Tom Crown on the show and let him maybe convince me why I should be bullish on Litecoin. But unless you're XRP that was under a heavy amount of suppression in 2021, what's the excuse for Litecoin for not setting a new all-time high during a very explosive bull market? There, you guys can see here, we set the all-time high for Litecoin way back in 2017, back when you only had a handful of altcoins, back when even though Ethereum existed, most people saw the main 1-2 punch of crypto being Bitcoin and Litecoin. They're both proof of work. It's almost like, hey, Litecoin does what Bitcoin can do a lot faster than Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin's the storage, and then Litecoin's what we actually use to buy and sell things. But Litecoin's really lost its thunder, no pun intended, in that kind of way. And so I'm just sitting here saying, I don't know if I even think Litecoin has the possibility of getting to new all-time high. Maybe it triple touches, and maybe if you bought Litecoin right now, you could still get yourself a little 5x out of it. There's just so much else out there that I can get more on. I think Litecoin, after a long time of it kind of hovering in the top 5, it slipped, and now it's, I go to CoinMarketCap, Litecoin. Where's Litecoin? Number 19, and it's probably more than likely, as the altcoin season gets going, going to fall back further. I don't think I would call Litecoin the silver. I'm not ready to say Litecoin is worthless, and again, I think there's a chance it goes back and matches all-time high and has a triple touch. But ultimately, I'm just not going to put my eggs into that basket of a coin that I don't think it's special. I don't think that why hold Litecoin when you can hold Bitcoin? And then when it comes to altcoins, it's like, well, why hold Litecoin when I can go after Chainlink, and I can go after AVAX, and I can go after Stacks and things that will have much greater returns. So that's kind of my thought there on Litecoin. Not trying to FUD anyone. If you guys like Litecoin, I don't think it's going to go to zero. I just think that its best days are possibly behind it, I guess is the best way to putting that. Tim, don't tell everyone it will end. Just end it on a cliffhanger. You mean so like just be talking midstream and then just hit the end stream button? That would be one thing. Just hit the. Just kidding. That was a joke. Okay. What else do we have here? Jasmy. Bear says Jasmy. You guys know I love Jasmy. Jasmy's taking a hit here for sure. Let's go take a look at the Jasmy chart. When I say take a hit, I'm on the weekly chart. Let's look at a smaller time frame. Let's get the 4 hour. Yeah. So Jasmy took a little bit of a hit. What is it down now? This is just a normal pullback though, so I'm just not that worried about it. But it did pull back 25%. Not that big of a deal. Let's see what Lux is saying here. We got a buy signal coming in, even though we're dropping. Am I on the contrarian mode? Yeah, I'm on contrarian mode. Okay. Contrarian, yeah, it's still, contrarian mode, I still like that. You have a nice breaker block sitting up above us here on 0.3, so keep an eye on that one. Let's change this back to confirmation, though. I'll let it go back to confirmation because it's probably not flashing a buy yet. Yeah, it's not. We are seeing, though, again, we kind of rejected around that smart trail. We are at the order block. If the bears continue, what I could see again, let's say Bitcoin goes to 64, like I've kind of talked about, I think we could see Jasmy fall back to 3.1 cents right here on this take profit. If Bitcoin holds, though, then I think that we do see Jasmy continue on its way. What's that way we're talking about? Well, if you come up here to larger time frames, let's turn this off. Just because we have a small retracement does not cancel out a very, very big bull flag in play here, a bull pennant, whichever you want to call it. I'm probably going to call this a flag. This could send Jasmy's price all the way up to about 9.6 cents. Price action we have not seen on Jasmy since December of 2021. So those things are looking very positive. The oscillators, while they're not quite ready to go yet, in fact, actually the MACD looks like it just crossed bearish, and we did get a good sell order, it looks like, here days ago. It's the same thing as Bitcoin. You got the sell order. You have your targets kind of in play here. Let's zoom back in. Again, sell order coming in. I think I said it before, right? 3.1, yeah, 3.13 cents right here where the smart trail is on the daily chart. Would not be surprised to see the price go down to that level. It is a little overextended. It hit its take profit on the buy order that we saw in Luxago way back here in May. Look at how beautiful that is, guys. We had a perfect buy signal, hit our take profit. This is just one more reason why Luxago is the best. And if you're wanting to make money in trading and get access to me and learn more about my trading strategies, just buying Luxago with our link below. Once you go through the steps, you get a ticket, you sign up, and you tell me what your email is. I think I put on there you have to give your ID. It works way better if you give me your email. Once I have your email, I know you signed up with us. Boom, you get into our group, and we got a lot of great content going on over there. Let's go ahead. I have not taken a drink of water, and you guys know the Investing Bros, the biggest supporters of hydration in not just crypto, I think YouTube as a whole. My personal belief, most people lose trades because they're not hydrated. I know that's usually my biggest problem. Logistics, one of our members said, Tim, could you shoot me? Okay, I think ask was a typo. Could you shoot if he's DM? Okay. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on here. Could you ask T-Shroom, I'm assuming, if he's DMing me? I am going to assume that he is not. In fact, we don't really reach out. Depending on what they're saying, we don't reach out to people. In fact, a lot of times what we tell you guys is go into our Discord and make sure you click on our name, which will be a red name. So it's either me or T-Shroom or even Crux. We won't reach out to you ourselves. We tell you to reach out to us, so you make sure you get a hold of the right person. So logistics, if someone is reaching out to you claiming to be myself or T-Shroom or Crux, that is a liar. That is what we call a scam artist. Do not believe anything they say. If anything, you want to have fun, just mess with them. El Chingon says Tim looks like Aquaman, hence the hydration. I don't have those locks. Maybe if I had some Caleb Franzen, hair with the beard, I could be Aquaman. Not that I'm not as tall as he is either. I'm like 5'11". So I think that guy is probably pretty tall. Let's go one more question. Then we're gonna get into talking about some ChainLink. I'm going to read the question of a guy who's going to love that topic. Username says, Tim, how is it you end? Wait, that is how you end it if it's not on a cliffhanger, just a swig of water and cut the feed. All right. That's an idea. So today I'll have to cut the show. Just a swig of water, hit my outro. Boom. Tim, why you guys never talk about Ton? I just am not necessarily a ton guy, lovely Jimmer, but I can talk about ton in the future for sure. But right now, I got to talk about some ChainLink. Now, there's an article written here. I'm going to do my own analysis. I got to zoom in for a little. I got to zoom in this article for you guys a little bit because it's probably pretty small. ChainLink has been dropping, in case you guys did not know. We'll go look at the charts, and I'll show you. But ChainLink, as this exciting sign emerges, will Link break out? This article caught my eye, but I wanted to look at the details and the reasons why they're so bullish before I give you the reasons why I'm pretty bullish. Now, the first thing, they did start off with some realistic analysis here, and this is a very good point to keep an eye on. Link's price was below all three key moving averages at the press time. The 50-day MA, that's the blue line on this chart. The 144-day EMA, I usually have a 155, but still it's close. That's the green line, well below it. And the 200 moving average, that's the red line. And this typically indicates a bearish trend. Absolutely. You guys can see here, actually, since the top of this rally, and we've fallen below these levels, we really kind of come back up and keep rejecting on all those levels. So it is going to be very important for ChainLink to get above these moving averages. However, if we're going to try to pinpoint and decide where the flip is happening and ChainLink will resume bullishness, we got to start looking at some reversal indicators. These moving averages more just tell us where the trend is going, not going to tell us when that trend is going to end. The RSI at the moment, now this isn't the most bullish thing in the world, I don't think, because that's not even the lowest you can get, but the RSI is around 39.54, which is below the neutral 50 mark, but above the oversold territory. Okay, all right, so maybe they're saying it's not quite ready yet. Let's keep moving on. The descending trend of the MVRV ratio, I don't know what that means. It's what this picture is right here. Currently nearing negative 16.84%, suggests that most holders who bought or moved Link during the past 2 months are at a loss. So if you clicked on this and at full screen, you guys very, very low right here. Can I just move? No, it's not going to let me just move the screen over. Okay. You have to just take my word for it right here. It's sitting at pretty much just being overextended. Link's derivatives trading volume. This is the part I think is very intriguing right here. Link's derivatives trading volume has surged by 85.94%, suggesting a high level of activity and trader interest in anticipation of a bullish reversal. You might be asking why. So let's kind of break this down before I go to my chart. Why, if they're below the moving averages and we're not necessarily oversold completely on the RSI, and we are showing signs of being oversold as a whole, why would high volume in trading picking up recently indicate a reversal is coming? Because trading volume does not dictate sells or buys alone. It simply raises whether you have a lot of buys or a lot of sells or a combination of them. And a lot of times, there's two reasons why volume increases. I'll tell you guys this a lot. There's either A, it's confirming a big move. So usually when you break out of a resistance level or you break below a support level that was really, really strong resistance or support, a lot of times that takes high volume. Let's say it was resistance. It will take a lot of bulls buying to break through that strong resistance. You need increased volume. But the other reason why volume often peaks, especially if you have been dipping or rallying, is because a reversal is coming close and the tide is starting to switch. Well, recently, for the last 2 weeks or so, ChainLink has been falling. So in this case, it wasn't the excessive volume that was causing the breakout. It was the excessive volume that maybe potentially this dip's coming to a close. And now, even though we might still have some people shorting, we have a lot of people coming in and buying as well. I want to show you guys before I go to the chart what High Block is saying about ChainLink. Let's go and type in LINK right there and see what it is doing. You guys can see we did have some nice yellow liquidity down below us. In fact, if I were to go to the 1 month chart, let's go to this because you can see a longer time frame. You're actually going to see we had a lot recently. We had a big level here on 1660. We also, again, had a lot coming down here to 1474. We have removed all of it. And now the majority of liquidity left for experienced traders to go and get rid of shorts or longs is all sitting up above us. And you see it very clearly on the 7-day chart. Look at all of these yellow marks above us. What those yellow marks are is levels where if price gets to this point and it's above the current price action, this is the price that a lot of people who have been shorting this asset, in this case it's Link, they have put into their trade. If price makes it to 1650, I want out of the trade, liquidate my position. There's other people who have clearly said all the way back up at $18 is where they want to be taken out. Long story short, When you remove all of the liquidity below you, meaning you've removed all of the longs and there's nothing really left below you, this is the time that traders turn their eyes to the sky and say, you know what? The next target is above us. Let's start an epic short squeeze and get rid of all of this negativity left in ChainLink. So that's the first thing I'm looking at here. When I come over here and I take a look at the charts, again, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying there is still an outside chance Link could make its way down here to 1367. If Bitcoin continues to move down towards 64, if all those other coins I talked about, if Ethereum goes closer to 33, if all these things happen, I think that there's a nice order block, a nice take profit coming in here at this level at 1350 that could be in play. Again, as we kind of mentioned here, Stochastics looks ready to go to the upside, but a lot of my other oscillators here on the daily chart showing we still have further room to the downside. RSI is only sitting at 37. This really doesn't become considered heavily oversold until you get closer to 30. So could we reverse right here? Absolutely we could. We've actually done it in this area twice before. But there still is a chance, a probability we go even lower than this. You take a look at the MACD. I'm not seeing the MACD show me signs of positivity here on the daily chart. That looks like a MACD that probably wants to continue to drop just a little bit more. Even when I come over and look at Lux Algo, yeah, we got a green reversal here, but I'm not even getting a green momentum dot on the oscillator. The money flow is still negative. What does that mean? Daily chart? I'm not looking to buy on the daily chart. Let's see if the 4-hour tells me something different. The 4-hour, not looking too bad, but it's, we've kind of been living in this area of being oversold, and yet we keep just regrouping for more bears. I'm not necessarily seeing even right now an overwhelming positive motion on the 4-hour chart. I think it could come soon. The money flow has been positive here, but as a whole, not necessarily screaming at me that we have to reverse right now. However, as we start to make a move lower, and again, we come out here in the daily chart, I kind of like the 4-hour chart, though. Let's keep an eye on around 1390. But the fact that we have this order block right here, keep an eye on the fact I'm not waiting for 1350 to buy necessarily. I probably would buy ChainLink probably right where we are just for the long-term hold, maybe come down somewhere closer to 14. But as a whole, what I am seeing when I look at the liquidations and I look at the fact that we are coming back down to amazing buy levels and there's a lot of volume on the derivatives coming into ChainLink, this tells me that when ChainLink does decide to go back positive, when it does decide to go back up and to the right, we could have ourselves an epic rally on ChainLink. Before I leave, I just want to mention one thing, though. You are going to see some of the haters out there. Just going to prep you guys for this. You will see some ChainLink haters out there say, uh-oh, is that a head and shoulders pattern? Should we see ChainLink crash? What they're looking at is this little left shoulder right here, a head and a right shoulder. I'll tell you guys right now, even Bitcoin, I've learned to take head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders patterns with a grain of salt, but especially altcoins, I almost think that they have like a almost perfect 50-50 probability, meaning 50% of the times head and shoulders patterns play out exactly how they should based off of your training. Other times they don't do it at all. 50-50 is not a good probability to make any type of decision. I just want to make sure you guys understand if this did play out and we did see the head and shoulders pattern be a bearish move, this would say that ChainLink should fall in price all the way down to, if I can move this line, there we go. It should fall all the way back down to $6.50. Okay. This is why I tell people I am an analyst. I'm a technical analyst. I love the charts, but I don't turn my brain off. I don't turn off what's happening in the news. I don't turn off what's happening with the fundamentals of the projects. I continue to think critically. And there are about 1,007 different arguments for why we will never see a $6.50 ChainLink ever again. I want to show you it just so you're aware, but at the end of the day, that is something that the bears will continue to throw in people's faces while the rest of us who are buying ChainLink get rich because this price, again, could we drop a little lower? We could. We absolutely could drop a little bit lower, come back down into this order block area, and then make a move to the upside. But ChainLink is going to have an amazing, I think summer's still going to be bullish, but wait for the fall. If you're really wanting to get some big fireworks on ChainLink, wait for the fall. ChainLink is going to melt some faces, in my personal opinion. I'm waiting for it to happen. I got to see it before, I can't just cash out my check now. I don't get to go to Coinbase or any other exchange and say, you know what, I'd like to sell all of my ChainLink. I'd like to sell my one ChainLink for $700 now, please. It doesn't work like that. But I think here in about a year and some change, I might have an opportunity to sell it for that high. Very, very bullish on ChainLink. Guys, that's going to wrap up what I have for planned stuff, but we absolutely can take a look at some other coins. Before we get to Q&A, let's take a look at one of our coins here that we've been tracking. I told you guys, Solana, watch out for this move down towards 143. Guess where we came to? I guess we didn't quite get to 143. We got right here to about 145. Now, I told you guys, I'm not convinced that we are technically over with this pullback. I think there still is a chance we could see some form of a correction. We did enter actually a sell order. Don't be too worried about this. This sell order is coming in as we're wrestling with the smart trail. If that sell order comes to fruition, though, we could see a take profit closer to 131. But as a whole, I still like 143 as a very strong level of support. It's where our smart trail is. That's where we have some order blocks. Let's see if the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart picking up some volume. Remember, I just told you volume picks up either for two reasons. One, for big breakouts, or number two, for reversal. Big volume right here as we stopped the bleeding. Big volume coming in right now again as it's looking like Solana is about as low as it really wants to go. Maybe it goes just a little bit lower, but I don't think there's a lot of dip left here for Solana whatsoever. Let's see what the oscillators are saying. Pretty overextended. They're not flashing bullish just yet, but very, very low. The RSI is below 30. The stochastics looks like it's curving and wants to come back up. MACD is still pretty bearish, and we're not seeing the bullish flashes here just yet, but we are seeing the money flow start to curve over here a little bit. So give this into tomorrow morning. I think tomorrow, if the CPI data that we're going to go live in the morning for, come back at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Eastern Standard Time, if this CPI data is at these numbers where the consensus is saying, or if it's a little lower, let's say we get a core inflation rate of 3.4% or 3.5%. If we get 3.3, these will all be very bullish catalysts because right now, again, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, why is price going down? Because there's anticipation that these numbers are going to get really high, a lot higher than people thought. And if that's the case, I guess I haven't talked about this yet. Let's just pretend for a minute that these numbers end up being higher, because I've talked about why I think these numbers might get lower. What happens if it's at 3.4? What happens if inflation rate as a whole is at 3.3? That's really bullish. But some of you might be thinking, well, Tim, what if the numbers come out higher? What if the numbers come out to 3.7 and inflation rate comes out to 3.5? What if the numbers actually go up? I don't think much. I'll be honest with you, I don't think much. Why? Because there's this thing in trading that's called baking in the price, meaning a lot of times when something is perceived to happen, there's this thing called buy the rumor, sell the news. Well, in this case, people were selling the rumor, so you buy the news. What is it? There's this rumor out there that CPI data is not going to be very friendly. And Jerome Powell, when he speaks at 2:30, is going to be very hawkish, right? So what happens? You sell the rumor, but then it actually comes to fruition. All right, that was cool, but we already sold everything. No one else wants to sell anymore. Nothing happens. I actually ultimately think that crypto as a whole might drop a little bit. Like if we go back to Bitcoin, I told you guys I think that there's an outside chance. Let's go back to the daily chart. Well, let's go to the 4. Let's keep on the 4 chart. You got to turn off. Let's talk for a second. I think that there's a chance that we either drop tonight or early tomorrow morning before CPI data. We either drop to 64 right then, or if we trade sideways right here, maybe bad CPI data, maybe that's what gets us down to 64. Either way, I don't think that negative news on CPI or Jerome Powell makes price go down. It at worst probably makes price go sideways and then slowly later on creep back to the upside, because again, the whales are still buying. Ultimately, there's only really one direction for Bitcoin to go up over the next 48 hours, and it's really to the upside. The bears have already done their worst. There's an article we actually read was it 2 days ago? I think it was 2 days ago. I had a very big stream. But there was an article that actually was written before the bad news came out. There's an article written that said, hey guys, right now Bitcoin's a little overextended, and there's some short-term users that are a little fearful because there's weak hands. They don't know how to hold. The littlest thing makes them scared and they sell. What the market needs to do is get rid of all those holdings. The market probably needs to have something scare them, let them sell all their crypto, and then boom, BlackRock and others will use it as a grand excuse to buy up the dip. This is playing out perfectly. If I was a whale and my thought was, man, I see Bitcoin in the next couple of years being worth millions of dollars, I got to buy it as cheap as possible. Oh, There's this convenient little story over here that's scaring the average investor. All right, let's not discourage this. Let's let them be scared. Yeah, sell us all your Bitcoin. We'll take it. We'll take it at a discounted price. You bought it for 71,000. Okay, you know what? We'll buy it off of you for 64. How about that? That's the way they think about it. That's the tale as old as time. The wealthy take advantage of the fear of the poor. That is exactly what's happening right now with Bitcoin. To me, I think worst case scenario, let's just say we're at 64,000 by tomorrow morning, and then the news gets worse. Maybe 60,000 is in play. That's still not a big move for the overall markets. That still is only a correction of Bitcoin of about 14, 15%. Not worth freaking out about whatsoever. And yet that's exactly what a lot of retail is doing right now. And the whales and the experienced traders, long-term holders who understand the markets well, they're taking advantage of you. I'm hoping, even if you don't have as much money as a whale, the main reason I come to you guys every single day is to help you learn how to think the way whales and long-term holders think. Even if you don't have a lot of smart money, I want you to treat that little bit you have like smart money, and that's how you build wealth over the long term. That's our strategy here. So we got like probably 5 minutes here, maybe 4 minutes. I probably want to get out of here about 3:55 before I jump in the show. Let's get some Q&A, and we're going to wrap it up. IA Contera, I don't know how you say that one exactly right. Well said. Bye. Absolutely. Kyle Field said the wealthy understand emotions, the poor don't. Yeah, and if you guys ever hear me say smart money and dumb money, I want to make sure you guys understand I'm not insulting anyone's intelligence or propping other people up. In fact, I fall with my portfolio, I fall into the category of I should be considered dumb money. I don't have a lot of it. Smart money implies people who have a lot of wealth. And most people have a lot of wealth because either they or their ancestors were pretty wise in how they handled it. Most people who don't have money, either themselves or their ancestors, did not know how to handle finances. They were kind of dumb with their money. So effectively, the term smart money, dumb money is wealthy people and long-term investors who understand how markets work. They're smart money. The average retail investor who doesn't have a lot, who's new to investing, they're probably going to be more emotional with their investing. So their money is really called dumb money. That's what those terms mean. Again, I want to teach you, even if you only have $1,000 in crypto and you would be classified as dumb money, I want you to take that $1,000 and treat it the same way the wealthy treat their $1 billion. And guess what? That money will grow. You will build wealth. You'll learn principles and rules about how to handle your finances that it might take you a little longer than others, but you will build wealth slowly but surely. That's the whole point of our channel. Let's see what else we have here. Watching for the water bottle, says username. I gotta get some water. I heard a little bit trickle down the beard right there. You might have thought that was going to be it, but that wasn't it. Bro, don't forget about the ton for the future. Let's take a quick look at ton, and we might wrap out the show after ton coin. What do I want to look at? I never do TA on it. Let's look at Bitfinex here. Let me share my screen. Let me go to the daily. I don't like that whatsoever, so I want to choose a different one. Oh, Kraken maybe? Oh, there's not a lot of experience on that whatsoever. All right, let's go. Yeah, USDT probably. Oh, I don't like any of these. All right, this is stupid. We're just going to look at this one. I like the bullish structure. Higher highs, higher lows. You love to see it. We're under a buy signal right now. We're coming back down, pulling back down toward that daily smart trail. So that's kind of similar boat as Bitcoin, but you guys see further room to the downside for sure. MACD is just crossing bearish. There's no real reason on the daily chart to be overwhelmingly positive. In fact, there's not enough experience to talk about the money flow, but you do see the reversal and the bearish momentum. So good reason to believe that we probably on ton coin should see, again, a move back down closer to $6.50, give or take. Let's see what the 4-hour chart is saying. Looks like a good little reversal possibly in play for the 4-hour. Is the money flow positive? Money flow looks like it's getting close to positive. You might see a small little long on ton. No, there's no reversal necessarily in play. But if that money flow is positive and we get a green momentum dot, could see a small little boost back up to about this order block right here, $7.17 to 20 cents range, give or take. We did hit our take profit on the short right there that Luxalgo gave us. So again, another reason to love Luxalgo right there. But as a whole, ton coin's long-term future, there's just, because it doesn't have a very long past and there's still so much competition for what it does, I just need to see more from Toncoin before I say, man, I want to put a lot of my money into it. If you do like it, if you've done the deep research and it's one of your holdings, good for you. I always tell people, I am not here to tell you exactly what to buy and what to do. I'm here to help you learn how to think about what you do and why you do it. And if you watch how I do things, again, you don't need to follow me perfectly step by step, but if you follow my whys and my whats, that's what makes you a little bit better. Last update I'll have here. We are in a community trade right now. I'm going to go ahead and leave it in here for now. We're up $4 in our community trade. We were in loss for the longest time. We entered right in here and just really have not been in profit whatsoever. But we're going to leave this on. Let someone make some money. Just wanted to update the community on that community trade. I've not forgotten about you guys. Not forgotten about you at all. It is 3:55 though. I do have to go. And of course, I hit the wrong button right there. So we're going to hit the right one this time. See you guys later. Bye. Actually, before I let you go, you got to smash the like button, hit subscribe as well. So please do that. Bye.
Trying to make paper, turn that vanity cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. Teaspoons news, got your word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that vanity cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.